Thanks very much for joining me. I appreciate your time today. What are you seeing in the special operations space in particular, but more broadly in the national defense sector as a whole, regarding the way that DoD is working with industry on innovation in this space?
That's a great question. Very happy to talk about it. I've spent 20 years of my career involved with the DoD and DARPA community, particularly developing new technologies to help the warfighter overall. What I've seen over this career is an increasing movement towards collaboration. Collaboration not just with coalition partners and close allies, which are of course critical for national security, but also better engagement with industry. From the standard defense industrial base to even, dual use technologies and the broader use of actually commercial data providers. So for example, we're seeing the wide use of the DoD of use of, for example, commercial data vendors like the Maxars and other kinds of satellite imagery providers, providing this data to help improve the overall effectiveness of U.S. national security capabilities.
One of the things that I see IT vendors talking about a lot, and government people as well, is I don't want to be in that business, whatever that may be, server and so on. Is that the same thing that you're talking about, where the government's saying, I don't need to be in the satellite imagery business anymore because there are commercial partners that can provide that service?
Right. And one of the concerns that we have are also, of course, always security, privacy concerns, and other kinds of related issues associated with the government has a mission that they want to push forward. They don't always want to reveal everything that they're asking about. They don't always want to have to, for example, depend and trust every single commercial vendor. So there's classically a degree of hesitance. And what we're seeing in particular, and what we're engaging in our company at Duality Technologies with the DoD, is the ability to protect data, protect queries, to let the DoD and the broader national security infrastructure better engage with industry, such as commercial data vendors, commercial data providers, while also protecting the privacy and security of the citizens that they're being asked about.
What are the potential challenges for the department and its components in taking data from different sources, trying to mash it up in order to get the final data product to wherever it needs to go? Or it's a warfighter at the edge, somebody in a maintenance depot, whatever. I imagine that is potentially either a bottleneck or just a problem area.
Yes, the way I think about it is sensor fusion writ large, orders of magnitude classically harder than it had been. For example, we're getting data, DoD is getting data from many more sources now than they ever did, just making sense of the data they have. So not just having access to data securely, but once they actually have the data, making sense of that data for tools such as AI, machine learning. And of course, that brings its own kind of security concerns that they want to start using commercial AI vendors, commercial machine learning vendors. How can they run these tools securely, potentially running it on sensitive data and protecting the data from the ML and AI models?
What's an ideal partnership, collaboration look like, in your view, between industry and a government organization?
Right. So ultimate concern is always about national security. Very important also is, of course, effectiveness for the taxpayer. So how can the government, for example, get access to much more data that it wants to, much more cost effectively? And that means not necessarily buying all data, but being very selective about what data they actually acquire as they go forward, and be able to kind of ask questions that are much more pointed and get much more pointed access to data that's much more sensitive while maintaining national security. This, of course, leads to great cost effectiveness, both the cost effectiveness to the acquisition of data, but also the time of the analysts and investigators who are basically need access to the data.
It's interesting that you talk about asking questions, because just about everybody I talk to that discusses effective collaboration says both sides need to ask a lot of questions. That's not coincidental, I imagine, that you went there.
No, not at all. And this is where you've seen a large drive in the industry, is how can we have collaboration, but protected collaboration, both secure, maintaining security and privacy. And we've been seeing greater uptake of things like privacy enhancing technologies, cryptography tools and things like that not only protects more effectiveness, but also provides, another level of defense, particularly cyber protection, as it is also.
It's great to have you on the program. Thanks for joining me today.
Happy to be here. Thank you.